I don't know. Angel Reese, she might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating. What is this back injury? What's going on? Hey.
The moment Angel Reese's team needed her most, she wasn't on the court. She wasn't even on the bench. As the struggling Chicago Sky imploded against the worst team in the league, their star rookie was miles away, and what she did on social media during the game ignited a firestorm that the organization is still trying to put out. This is more than just a missed game, it's a crisis of perception.
The world wants to know. The whole world is wondering, where in the world is Batman? I'm joking. I want to know, as Chicago Sky fans, women's basketball, WNBA, Angel Reese fans, where in the world...
The context here is crucial. Angel Reese, the Bayou Barbie, arrived in the WNBA with massive expectations, seen as a franchise cornerstone for the Chicago Sky. But the season has been a brutal grind, and with the team's playoff hopes fading, every single game has become a test of character. So when Reese was ruled out of a road trip for a back injury, the official reason was immediately met with online skepticism.
I find it very symbolic, very almost funny, but not funny. Not funny, haha, but funny, sad. That out of all the bodily injuries that Angel Reese, a player, could experience, she's experiencing a back injury. Her back is literally hurting. And is it because that she is tired of carrying the weight of the Chicago Sky on her back, being that floor general and that floor leader? Did the Chicago Sky break Angel Reese's back?
That skepticism stems from a narrative that has followed Reese for over a year. Based on publicly available information, fans quickly drew parallels to past events. They pointed to the end of her rookie season, where she missed time after the Rookie of the Year race was realistically over. This latest absence, to many viewers, didn't feel like an isolated incident. It felt like a pattern.
Listen, everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you gotta be, hold on, you have to have some level of self-awareness here. Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you no longer, you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done.
This is where the situation gets complicated, because perception is everything. The official report is a back injury, and no one should question the legitimacy of a player's health. However, the optics became incredibly challenging for the team when Reese was active on social media during the Sky's disastrous loss to the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, she did wear the villain role on her sleeve, no doubt about that. She didn't do a lot to help herself when she was winning the NCAA championship last year against Iowa, and she was taunting Caitlin Clark. But did we forget that Caitlin Clark had been doing the same thing to numerous opponents throughout that season last year? That it wasn't until she was humbled in that national championship game against LSU that she dialed it back a little bit? You can't want to be the villain. You can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you succumb to those emotions. That is true to some degree. But usually when you lose and you have an opportunity to sit back and reflect, there's a mountain of emotions that get heaped on your shoulders, and it's hard to hold it in. Not to mention when teammates are coming to your defense because they realize how the insults against you have been so personal.
While her teammates were getting ejected in a heated physical game, Reese posted on Twitter, making light of the situation and suggesting things would have been different if she were there. From a fan's perspective, the timing was jarring. It was interpreted by thousands online, not as supportive but as detached, creating a visible distance between her and the team's struggle.
Making this something that isn't. She's got a back injury. Like, I'm not going to be out here saying that Angel Reese needs to go out and play through a damn back injury. I just don't think is the case, especially when your team is as bad as it is. Like, absolutely just stinking it up constantly. Like the Chicago Sky stink.
The contrast drawn by critics was immediate and sharp. Caitlin Clark, earlier in the season, Clark was seen traveling with and actively supporting the Indiana Fever from the bench, even when she was injured and couldn't play. This observable difference in behavior fueled a debate about leadership and what it means to be present for your team, even when you're not on the court.
You threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's 2 seasons in a row.
Looking at the numbers objectively, the Rookie of the Year conversation was never as close as the headlines suggested. Clark's statistical output was historically significant. While Reese was a solid, impactful rookie, the media narrative, however, positioned them as direct rivals, which created immense pressure. When Reese's performance leveled off post-Olympic break, the conversation faded.
Listen, Angel Reese has thrown in the towel. She refuses to travel with the team. Once again, the team has a road game. We already saw she refused to travel with the team to Indiana versus the Fever. Now they head to Connecticut to take on the worst team in the league. Yes, they finally win against a team that is worse than them, the Connecticut Sun.
This is my interpretation of what happened next. The Sky's loss to the Sun was a low point. They are ranked 11th, while the Sun are ranked 13th in a 13-team league. Losing that game was a tactical and moral defeat, and to have your most famous player absent made it feel even worse. It left the coaching staff and the players on the floor to answer for a loss and a controversy.
Nobody knew what had happened on the day. Nothing had happened. Then somebody got into Angel Reese's ear to say that this happened, and she then doubled and tripled down, saying that something happened even though she didn't hear it herself. And then she's there reposting tweets or reposting TikToks saying that Gamebridge is dangerous for her and it's a danger if she goes to Gamebridge and all of this crap. Like, so Angel has done all.
This entire episode highlights a fundamental tension in modern professional sports: the athlete versus the brand. Reese is an undeniable star with a massive personal brand. Her influence extends far beyond the court into fashion, social media, and culture. The question that arose from this situation is which one takes priority when things get difficult.
Some speculation going on saying, like, of course, because she has injured her back, unfortunately, at the tender age of 23, might I add, that she is still going through the rehabilitation process. But people are so anxious to see just when exactly will Angel Reese return in this current 2025 season. Because again, guys, today is what, August 14th. The freaking playoffs is just some weeks away, and we all know, again, we got to have that come to Jesus moment. If you haven't had it yet, come to me. We can have it together. Listen, look at me in my eyes and see that I ain't lying. We're not going into the playoffs, guys. I'm sorry.
For the Chicago Sky, the fallout is significant. They invested a high draft pick in a player they hoped would be a foundational piece. Instead of solidifying the team's future, this incident has created uncertainty. It raises difficult questions for the front office about the culture they are trying to build and the type of leadership they value.
We did a show early in the week about Jason Whitlock talking about she quit on the Chicago Sky. She gave up on the WNBA. She really don't want to play basketball. And this is all surrounding around her back injury.
The core of the issue isn't whether Reese's injury was real. The issue is the accumulation of moments that have allowed a negative narrative to take root. When a player is seen as consistently unavailable during the toughest moments, whether for legitimate reasons or not, it impacts team chemistry and public trust.
Oh, the grace from the basketball gods and goddesses that we cannot beat the Connecticut Sun. Do you know the Connecticut Sun is ranked number 13 in the WNBA league? There's 13 teams. They're ranked dead last. Whereas we, the Chicago Sky, we're ranked number 11. Now, granted, yes, this happened at their court today, okay? It was the Connecticut Sun's home game. That's no excuse. And
Ultimately, the responsibility doesn't fall on just one person. It's a complex situation involving a young star navigating immense fame, a media environment that thrives on controversy, and a team struggling to find its identity. Organizational decisions and team strategy have put players in a difficult position all season.
Tyler Marsh gives a major update surrounding around Angel Reese's back injury, and you guys are not going to believe what he said.
What we observed on the court in Connecticut was a team without its emotional leader, and it showed the ejections and the loss painted a picture of a team in disarray. A leader's absence is felt most when a team is rudderless, and that night the Sky looked lost at sea.
it's Angel Reese, okay? Of course, she was missing in last night's game, where we ultimately, the Chicago Sky, we got defeated by the Connecticut Sun, the worst ranked team in the league currently. They're the worst ranked team. And on top of that, we see 3 ejections. And on top of those 3 ejections made from the game, we see Angel Reese on Twitter cackling and kikiing and giggling, talking about if I was there on the court and God just be knowing, you know, not to put me in certain situations. I'm like, okay, but girl, sister girl, Miss Thing, where is you at?
This situation serves as a lesson for teams across all sports. In an era of player empowerment and massive personal brands, building a cohesive team culture is harder than ever. It requires constant communication and a clear alignment of goals between the organization and its stars.
Trash. She refused to travel with the team to Connecticut, obviously showing a complete lack of leadership. Man. Caitlin Clark's been hurt. She traveling with the team, supporting on the bench. You're supposed to be there with your troops. You're supposed to be there with your troops, cheering them on. Feet, you know what I'm saying? Giving them that energy from the bench, from the sideline, whatever. She not even traveling with the team, y'all.
Whether this is just a turbulent chapter in a young superstar's journey or a defining trait remains to be seen. Angel Reese has the talent to be a dominant force in this league for years to come. But greatness in professional sports is measured by more than just statistics. It's measured by reliability, accountability, and the trust you build with the players beside you. The Chicago Sky and Angel Reese are now at a crossroads.